look, he came here on that exception to try to win. The Nuggets still have, regardless of what the bench is looking like, they still have maybe the best starting five in the league. Would he still want to chase that ring? I mean, if it was me and I had made $330 million in my NBA career, I'd probably want to
telling people what to do with their money, Mose.
No,
it's not, you know what I mean? Just be like, he's made enough money. He can take cheap money.
No. I'm saying this is what I would do. He can do whatever he wants. He can go get $10 million a year. Hey, go to Tel Aviv for all I care. What I'm saying is that I would want to have a championship before it was done. I would feel unfulfilled. I would go for it. So he's still got a very good chance with the Nuggets. Who else would he have a very good chance with?
Hey, so let me ask you this, though, because I still think it's 50-50 whether he returns to Denver, because the Nuggets can certainly beef up the offer to him, not considerably, but they can give him more money and he can return here. I'm not saying that the money's going to be equal, but would you rather have, coming off your bench, Bruce Brown or Russell Westbrook?
Man, that's a good question. It's probably still Russ for me, but I love. Can you afford Bruce? Do you think the Nuggets can get it back, or just as a hypothetical?
As a hypothetical, and I think you can get Bruce for under $10 million. That's gonna, unless some team goes crazy, you're going to get Bruce in that range. Maybe not as cheaply as you can get Russell Westbrook. Okay, but I'm just asking you from a player's perspective. Which player would you rather have come off your bench, Bruce Brown or Russell Westbrook?
Well, probably Bruce, right?
Brucey B's 10 years younger. But their games are different games. I probably, Vic, if you're talking about the more safe bet, that is Bruce Brown.
It's not even close.
Yeah, Bruce Brown is the safer bet.
It's not even close. Of course it's Bruce Brown. He can play more positions. He can defend every position. He doesn't make the same mistakes. He's younger. Of course it's Bruce Brown. Russell Westbrook, I'm not trying to cast aspersions here at Russ. He helped the Nuggets. He helped them. But you're going to take a Bruce Brown over a Russell Westbrook. You just are. The one thing the Nuggets will lack if Westbrook leaves is this. There weren't many players on this roster who could take the basketball and go. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to take this ball, I'm going to go right by it.
And that's kind of the thing, is that he's an attacker. He's a tone setter. And Bruce, God bless him, he's not that, right?
Well, the Nuggets don't have a lot of those guys on their roster right now, right? Like, they were looking for guys who can get their own shot, be playmakers themselves. And Russ at least can do that. Can Bruce? Yeah, it's Bruce. It's Bruce.
Yeah,
but
Bruce.
I love Russ so much. He's so fun to watch play basketball, even when he's doing bad things. But I mean, that's just me. That's just
I'd
my
like
own
to know when he
opinion.
busted up his hand.
Yeah,
exactly.
When did that? How long had he been dealing with that? Was it just during the playoffs? Was it earlier in the regular? When did that happen?
I don't remember him during the course of the game doing this. It was his shooting hand, right? Mm-hmm. Normally, you'll see a guy do this and other work. I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, Russ is a savvy vet. Maybe he's like an NHL player. He's like, I'm not going to let anybody know because they'll go after it. I'm not going to let anybody know.
Could be. But we'll see. I mean, this could be the first domino to fall for the Nuggets in this offseason because let's say there's a team out there that's willing to double his salary, all right? Double it. He becomes an unrestricted free agent. He says, I'm going to give you double. Orlando, I don't know. I think his motivation, I'm talking just from Russell's motivation, he wants to make money, but at the same time, he wants to go to a team that has a chance. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to go play for a joke. He's done that. He played for the Wizards, for crying out loud. He wants to go play for a team that has a chance and a team that will let him be him. See, that's what the Nuggets did. Unlike the Lakers and the Clippers, the Nuggets let him be him.
Do you think Adelman's going to let him do that, or do you think that was a Malone thing? Do you think now that Adelman's there to be a different situation?
It may not be. Listen, Adelman, in my humble opinion, I think Adelman sort of put him on a leash. Adelman said, you remember what he said? He said, I'm going to finish these games with the best players. Mm-hmm. And I'm listening to what Adelman speaks into a microphone, and when he talks about offensive execution being the most important thing working going forward, they got to improve their defense clearly, but on offense, you got to execute, especially in the playoffs. You cannot execute your offense if you're turning the ball over. And that's his biggest issue.
Yeah, I wonder, too, there is no, quote, GM right now. officially.
I'm assuming Josh is the GM, right? He's acting as the GM.
Well, I mean, you've got your acting GM is Tenzer at the moment.
Oh,
and I'm sure that everything goes through Josh Kroenke as well, and we'll go through probably during the draft. I mean, during the draft here, and we'll see how long it takes to actually fill that position. But I'm curious, Vic, as to what kind of influence would David Adelman have on this? And I would assume if he is the head coach, his opinion on his own players and who he would like and who he would not like is probably going to be heavy. I mean, I would assume that you go to Adelman and say, hey, look, Russ declined. Now, here's, a couple routes we can pursue. Which guys do you like? Who do you think could fit better with what you want to do? And also, I'm curious, Vic. I'm curious to see what the Nuggets look like when Adelman has an opportunity to implement everything that he wants to implement, the style that he wants to play. It probably won't be that much different, but there will be some tweaking. So
It sounded like it might be a lot, right?
It might. I guess it might be. It might be. But who is going to be the guy or the guys who are the guys that fit better with that?
We'll soon find out, dude. I'm really excited about the Nuggets offseason, more so than most, because I think there's some opportunity here. And the opportunity isn't at the top of the roster, it's at the bottom of the roster. And what they do could have some serious impact.
Mm.
When listen, I was just going through some figures here as you were talking, and I'm very eager to find out, and the market will dictate this. How much can he make on the open market? He made the veteran minimum here in Denver. He opted out of the first half of that contract because he thinks he can make more, okay? Or he knows that he's not going – there's two things at play here. Either he thinks he can make more, which he can because the salary cap's going up. Even in Denver he can make more. Or he knows he's not welcome back here and there's another opportunity. I'm dying to find out which of those is which. I don't know the answer to that.
What's interesting is I'm looking at the Nuggets cap situation. They're in the luxury tax. They're in that apron.
Yeah, the first apron, right?
Vic, do you know how much the cap is actually going to be? Because this year they were about $42 million, 42.5 over the cap.
Do you realize how much more they could do if they didn't have Zeke Najee's contract on the books? Let's say it didn't exist. They would be under the first apron, and they would be able to sign the mid-level exception at $12.5, $13 million. Do you know how many more players it opens up to them if they could do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, they put themselves in this position. I mean, the NBA put all these teams in this position with this new CBA.
How good would it be for Zeke Naji just to be able to play?
Yeah, find another team.
At just over 8 per, actually be able to get on the floor and contribute minutes that you find to be productive minutes.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you know what, Vic? Let me ask you this question, because I've been a proponent of this, and I don't know. This is pie. This is stupid. This is stupid. This is dumb. But I'm going to ask you anyway. I'm going to ask you this question anyway. I want Jamal Murray to be the number one option. I would like to see how Jamal Murray would look if he was the number one option on the team. If he what would Jamal look like as a player if he was given the opportunity to be, QB1 on a team, the best player on a team? I would like to see a season of that out of Jamal and what he would look like when it was all said. I think he would be a better player for it, but you can't. Obviously, you can't. Because he's option number 2 on the Nuggets. He's never going to be as good as Joker. But what do you Vic, what do you think Jamal Murray would look like as a player if he went to whatever, I don't care who it is, Washington or somebody like that, where he is the guy. He is the number one option. How do you think his game would change at all? Do you think his game would improve at all? What would Jamal look like if he was the number one guy?
All I can tell you is what I've seen in games when Joker was not around and he had to play. Right? I mean, and the Nuggets aren't as good without Nikola Jokic. They're just not. They're not. Jamal Murray played for Team Canada and didn't even start. Yeah. Of course, he had injuries that year.
Yeah. I mean, I think he started right because that backcourt was going to be SGA and Jamal in the backcourt for Team Canada. And you're like, ooh, that's going to be nasty. And then Jamal couldn't hang, and they put him on the bench.
I don't know the answer to that, dude. It's a tough answer. It's why, when you play guys next to Nikola Jokic, it's hard to evaluate those guys.
Yes, exactly.
By themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't know.
We got into this discussion of Jamal versus Halliburton, right? And which would you rather have? I said my guy because I know my guy. My guy's one. Okay, fine, great. But again, all these questions that will never be answered, never able to be answered. What would they look like around Nikola Jokic? Like if Tyrese was here, and he's playing with
that's
Joker.
interesting. Yeah, what would that look like?
Then what would he? Yeah,
Let me make it very easy.
What would
for
he
you.
look like?
Let me make this
and
very
how
easy.
much better would he be?
Yeah.
Every player on earth would look better next to Nikola Jokic.
Yes.
That the end. All right. So write your sentence down. If you're going to write a sentence, how many players would look better next to Nikola Jokic? All of them.
You can write this down. Hell, record this.
The answer is all of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a single player in the world, if you played them next to Nikola Jokic, who would not look better. Play better, better stats. I mean, that's just it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know why? He makes them better.
Hey, Vic, in your mid-50s, do you feel that you could get a 10-day if you were playing alongside Nikola Jokic?
No. But maybe in my mid-40s.